Good afternoon, dear students, dear colleagues, dear everyone watching us. We are here today in a seminar for grade 9 students, Unit 5. We hope you get benefit from it. At the beginning, allow me to introduce my colleagues in the studio, Ms. Ula Al-Mu'i, English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Always a pleasure.
And Ms. Ula Subh,
Correct.
English Language Teacher,
Yes,
again, Tartus Directorate.
Yes, correct.
And this is me, Abdul Majid Overly, English Language Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Language in the Ministry of Education. We're going to start with Unit 5, as I said at the beginning. Unit 9, Ms. Ula Al-Mu'i is going to talk about the lesson plan.
Okay, in this lesson, we have to start with the listening, as always, and it's a story about a decision that changed someone's life. With the speaking, we can discuss about making decisions, and in the reading section, we have two texts, one from the student's book and the other from the activity book, and it's about making decisions. With vocabulary, we're going to have vocabulary related to the text, and the grammar today is going to be about the past simple and past progressive. And we have the pronunciation section, and we're going to end with the writing section, and it's writing about a visit.
Well, usually every seminar we start with the listening, and we advise that teachers to have two listening if it is exam, and you are free to make them listen as much as they need so that they can grab the pronunciation. Since we're here, we're going to follow the steps. Listen the first time for the general meaning, and then we listen a second time for details. We're going to start the audio and listen for the first time to John, and after we talk about the general idea, we're going to listen again, and we are going to do the questions you can see on the screen.
I want to talk about a decision I made that has changed my life forever. One of the most important decisions I made was to give up soda. I know that it seems like such a tiny decision, but it truly has changed my life. I gave up soda about a month and a half as a healthy step. At first, I thought it was going to be really hard giving it up, but after the first 2 weeks, I wasn't thinking about soda at all. I started eating better, exercising more, and just living a better life. Later, I noticed how healthier my life became. I lost 10 kilograms by cutting out soda. I wanted to give advice for those who were in the same situation as I was. Whenever you want to give up something that you think you can't live without, it really depends on how dependent you are on what you are giving up. My friends also really helped me by reminding me of the reason why I was doing it. I don't regret my decision whatsoever. I hope you are inspired by my story to give up something that is bad for you.
Well, so the general idea is, Ms. Ula Subh?
Yeah, I think the general idea is about making a very effective decision. When you make an effective decision, you are not gonna regret it.
It's giving up
and
soda.
this one, and this one is about giving up soda so that he can, or John can, have a healthy lifestyle. And eventually he ended up with having a very healthy lifestyle, and he actually lost some kilos, and he advised everyone to do the same and not to give up and stick to his or to their
You
decisions.
summarized everything.
Yeah.
Good.
Kind
We're
of.
going to listen again and do the questions which are true or false.
I want to talk about a decision I made that has changed my life forever. One of the most important decisions I made was to give up soda. I know that it seems like such a tiny decision, but it truly has changed my life. I gave up soda about a month and a half as a healthy step. At first, I thought it was going to be really hard giving it up, but after the first 2 weeks, I wasn't thinking about soda at all. I started eating better, exercising more, and just living a better life. Later, I noticed how healthier my life became. I lost 10 kilograms by cutting out soda. I wanted to give advice for those who were in the same situation as I was. Whenever you want to give up something that you think you can't live without, it really depends on how dependent you are on what you are giving up. My friends also really helped me by reminding me of the reason why I was doing it. I don't regret my decision whatsoever. I hope you are inspired by my story to give up something that is bad for you.
Well, question number 1, Mr. Ala Al-Muai, please read
now,
it.
after listening, we have to decide if these statements are true or false. The first one, John's decision was to give up soda, and this is correct. This is the decision.
Okay, number 2, he gave up soda 2 months ago as a healthy step. This is false. It was a month and a half.
Yeah, false. Number 2 is false.
False.
Number 3, Mr.
Number
Ala
3,
Al-Muai.
John's life changed to the better, and this is correct.
True. Last one.
And number 4, he lost 15 kilos by cutting out soda. This is false. He lost 10 kilos only.
10 kilos.
10 kilos.
So it's false.
Yeah.
We move to the second part. The first part was from the student's book.
Yeah.
And the second listening is from the activity book. It's about Bill. Bill did something. We're going to listen first for the general idea. Then we listen again for details.
Bill is a baseball player. He had a problem with his shoulder. It prevented him from playing well, but he could still play most of the time. He had to stay out once in a while to give his shoulder a rest. His doctor said he needed an operation in order to be completely cured if it was successful. But there were some chances that the operation may fail. Bill would have to quit playing if the operation failed. It was hard for Bill to decide what to do as he had 5 years left in his baseball career. Finally, Bill decided to do this operation and fight until the last breath. After several weeks, Bill had the operation. Fortunately, it succeeded and he returned to play baseball. He says that when life wants to bring you down, you have to be brave and make a great decision that will change your life.
Well, Ms. Ala Al-Muai,
Okay, now it's about an operation, a decision to make an operation.
because he had a problem with his shoulder. We're going to listen again. After that, we're going to do the exercises,
Multiple choices. this
multiple
time.
choice questions.
Bill is a baseball player. He had a problem with his shoulder. It prevented him from playing well, but he could still play most of the time. He had to stay out once in a while to give his shoulder a rest. His doctor said he needed an operation in order to be completely cured if it was successful. But there were some chances that the operation may fail. Bill would have to quit playing if the operation failed. It was hard for Bill to decide what to do as he had 5 years left in his baseball career. Finally, Bill decided to do this operation and fight until the last breath. After several weeks, Bill had the operation. Fortunately, it succeeded and he returned to play baseball. He says that when life wants to bring you down, you have to be brave and make a great decision that will change your life.
Good. Miss Ola Subh, number 1.
Okay, so number 1, if the operation was successful, he would be partly, completely, or never cured. Completely cured.
Completely. So the answer is completely
Yeah.
cured. Number 2, Ms.
Number
Ala Al-Muai.
2, there space that the operation may fail. A, there were no chances. B, there was one chance. And C, there were some chances. Well, there were some chances. Letter C.
Letter C. Number 3, Ms.
Yes.
Ola Subh.
Yeah. He decided to until the last breath. A, fight, or B, run, or C, play. Well, he actually decided to fight.
Fight.
It's A.
Letter A, fight. Now speaking.
Yeah.
Again, speaking is very important. At school, we always say the teacher can either write sentences like this to make the students discuss,
They
or
may use
can
a
show
picture.
pictures to talk about pictures. Any situation, the aim is to make the students speak,
Practice the language.
either in pairs or in groups,
or
or
even-
one to the class. So it is to practice speaking.
Yeah.
Miss Ola
Okay.
Al-Muai, will you talk about these 4 situations?
Okay. Now, since we have had some text about making decisions. Now we can start with the idea of making decisions before reading. In this part, we have, for example, is it easy for you to make a decision? We're starting with a yes-no question because to make students feel comfortable before starting questions. Yes. Is it easy for you to make a decision?
But
yes or
it
no?
is better to make it WH question.
Yeah, so,
that
this
the
is
students-
negotiable.
Yeah, negotiable.
Okay, so is it easy? They might find it easy or difficult. We can start with the steps you usually follow. If they don't find the correct answer, or they don't, there is no correct or wrong answer, they just need to speak. So we can elicit the answer. For example, do you start by finding information? The third one, whom do you ask before you make important decision? They don't give one answer. You can say, do you ask your friends, your family, your parents, your teacher? We can give answers. The last one, have you ever changed your decision? Well, I guess,
Depends
again,
on
yes, no question, yes or no. If you have changed it, why? If you haven't, was it good or not?
Yeah, if we put why at the end,
Yes.
it would be better so that the students give more explanation. We come to the reading part. Read the text and do the task below. Before we read, we have a quote. Learn a skill and work with a will.
This is the title.
Wisdom is knowing what to do
Next.
next. Skill is knowing how to do it, and virtue is doing it. This is David Starr Jordan. Learn a skill and work with a will. I will read if you allow me.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
We make thousands of decisions a day. Making a choice is easy. Choosing well takes knowledge and skill. You have many decision-making examples in daily life, such as deciding what to wear, what to eat for lunch, what task to do next, choosing which book to read, etc. Decision-making is an ongoing process in every aspect of life, large or small. The ability to make a decision and stick to it is the cornerstone of good leadership skills. Having critical thinking skills allows one to ascertain the problem and come up with a suitable and beneficial solution. Before taking a step, we must try to see where possible potholes are. This won't just make us stronger moving forward, it will also give us more determination and awareness about what we are deciding. The decision-making tools help you to map out all the possible alternatives to our decision, its chances of success or failure. So, to make a decision, you must first identify the problem you need to solve or the question you need to answer. What also prevents effective decision-making is when you do not have enough information about your decision. In this case, you are making a decision without any basis. Teamwork helps you to make the right decision. You must collaborate with your family members and classmates at some point to make your right decision. Time management is very important. Since decisions need to be made quickly, sometimes you have to outline the amount of time you have to make your decision. Also, organization is vital in your making a final decision. You should use this skill to find out what results you're looking for and if it's a top priority. We finished reading.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
We are going now to answer the multiple choice questions. Number one, Ms. Ula Al-Muay, please.
Number one, the first one, making a decision is A, a one-step procedure, B, a continuous process, C, complicated, D, concerned with serious issues only. It's letter B, making a decision is a continuous process.
Thank you so much. Ms. Ula Subh, number two.
Okay, number two, the one who has the ability to make a decision and stick to it is a person with good A, education, B, communication skills, C, leadership skills, or D, earnings. And it is actually letter C. So leadership skills.
Yes.
Number three, to ascertain the problem and come up with a suitable and beneficial solution, one needs to have A, critical thinking skills, B, alternatives to your decision, C, many problems, and D, possible potholes. It's A, critical thinking skills.
Exactly. These are the correct questions again in red color. Number 4, Ms. Ula Subh.
Okay, now number 4, the first step in the decision-making process is to A, map out all the possible alternatives, B, answer the question, C, see where possible potholes are, or D, identify the problem. It is D, identify the problem.
And number 5, when you do not have enough information about your decision, this prevents A, mapping out alternatives, B, effective decision making, C, finding the problem, and D, making a decision. It's letter B, effective decision making.
Yes.
Number 6, because decisions need to be made quickly, sometimes it is essential to have good A, results, B, collaboration, C, time management, or D, teamwork. It is C, time management.
Time management, yes. Thank you so much. Decide if the following statements are true or false. Number 1, Ms.
Okay.
Ellen Way.
Number 1, according to David Starr Jordan, this is the quote, making good decisions need knowledge and skills, and this is correct.
True.
True.
Yes.
Number 2.
Okay. Number 2, what prevents decision making is when you don't have enough information about your decision. This is true.
True.
Number 3, after taking a step, we must try to see where potholes are. This is false.
False. This is not after.
Before.
Before.
It's before.
Okay.
Number 4.
Yeah. Number 4, organization is vital in your making a final decision. This is completely true.
True. Late to go back. Ms. Ula Subh,
Yeah.
will you please
Yeah,
read?
sure. Okay, with pleasure. Now, Sam walked into a cake shop after he had finished his work to buy his daughter a birthday cake. It was about 4 o'clock and the store usually closes at 5, so he should make his mind quickly and decide what he should buy. Sam asked himself, which one should I choose? He began wandering in the shop, watching the various kinds of cakes which were kept in the refrigerators around. The cakes looked very delicious and tasty, so it was difficult for Sam to choose. Time was passing, but in vain. Sam couldn't decide yet. When he heard the chef saying, "Come on, hurry up, please. We are about to close the store." "No, wait, please. I should choose the most suitable and delicious cake," Sam said sorrowfully. Sam's eyes kept moving from one refrigerator to another, but all of the options looked so good and he couldn't make a decision yet. "Try to be quick, man. Make up your mind. We have to close," the impatient chef said. Suddenly, the chef had enough and asked Sam to leave immediately. Sam walked out of the shop empty-handed, feeling depressed and frustrated. He wanted them all, but ended up with nothing because he couldn't choose any. I can relate to Sam sometimes.
We can all do.
Yeah. Now, think of what happened to Sam. It's just what we're all Sam, and the world is the cake shop. We have extremely large numbers of options available to us, but if we don't make a decision about our career, education, relationships, investment, or other important issues, we end up empty-handed. Sometimes we worry about making the wrong decision. What if we regret the direction that we take and it's too late to go back? The real danger is that we make no decision at all and end up going nowhere and doing nothing.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Ms. Ula Al-Muay, will you please read the first exercise,
Okay.
first question?
Now read and choose A, B, C, or D. Number 1, Sam went to a shop to buy his daughter A, souvenir, B, cake, C, dress or bag. It's letter B, he wanted to buy a cake
Cake.
for his daughter.
Number 2.
Yes.
Ms. Ula
Number
Subh.
2, before the shop closed, Sam had A, 1 hour, B, 5 minutes, C, no time, or D, a day. He actually had just 1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah.
because he arrived at 4.
At 4, and the shop
and the
closes
shop
at
usually
5.
closes at 5. Number 3. Ms.
Number 3, it
Sulaiman.
was difficult for Sam to choose because A, he had no time, B, a man didn't allow that, C, the owner wasn't helping him, or D, the cakes looked very delicious. It's based on the text. D, the cakes looked very delicious. He couldn't make up his mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Ala Subh.
Yeah. In the end, Sam left the shop A, empty-handed, or B, with a nice dress, or C, happy and satisfied, or D, with a refrigerator. He actually, left with empty-handed. He was
Yes.
empty-handed.
Thank you. Now, decide if the following are true or false. Number 1.
Number 1, there are
Sulaiman.
no options available to us in this word. This is false. We have so many options.
Yes.
Number
Ms. Ala
2,
Subh.
if you make the right decision, you will regret it. For sure not. We're not going to regret it.
False.
Yes,
Number
false.
3, you may end up with nothing if you want to get all the options. This is true.
4, to be successful, you need to make up your mind. This is true.
The last one.
The last
Number
one, 5, Sam did what we all might do in life, and this is true.
Exactly. We come to vocabulary. Number 1, Ms. Ala Subh.
Yeah.
Health officials
Yeah. Sorry.
have tried
Number
to
1,
raise.
yes. Health officials have tried to raise priority or outline potholes or awareness, raise awareness.
Awareness from the text.
Yeah.
So the word is from the text. Usually in the exam, they will have vocabulary exercise, grade 9, 5 questions for vocabulary. Missing word, and we have 4 choices. The students need to choose one word that suits the space.
But
to
the
complete the
vocabulary
sentence.
are only from the text, right?
Not
Not
necessarily, but the word must be from their book, not necessarily from the text, but from their book. They must know it already before the exam.
Yeah.
Number 2,
Number 2, my parents wouldn't me to go to the party. Wouldn't A, allow, wouldn't B, outline, wouldn't C, wonder, and D, collaborate. It's A, wouldn't allow me.
allow.
Yeah. 3,
Number
the
3.
clubs is to win the league, awareness or vain, priority, investment. C, the club's priority is to win the league.
Number 4, always write an for your essays. A, options, B, priority, C, awareness, or D, outline. Always write an outline for your essays.
Yes.
5, elephants to look after their young, allow, collaborate, outline or regret. They collaborate to
They
look
collaborate,
after
yes.
their young.
Good creatures.
Number
6.
6, tickets are in the box office. Tickets are various, A, or B, available, C, delicious, or D, empty-handed. Tickets are available in the box office.
Number
Ms. Ala
7,
Subh.
earthquakes are difficult to predict. Daily, sorrowfully, immediately, or extremely. They are extremely difficult to predict.
Yes.
And
Ms.
number
Sulaiman.
8, don't do anything you might. A, stick, B, invest, C, regret, or D, ascertain. It's C,
Certain.
regret.
Regret.
Okay. Number 9, we plan to buy some property as an investment, aspect, option, or education as an investment.
Investment.
Yeah.
We come to grammar, and we need to give in details grammar about past simple and past progressive. Ms. Sulaiman, will you
Okay.
start?
Yes. We're going to start with the past simple first. Let's have the form.
The form.
With the positive form, we use the subject and the verb in the second form. We can use words, time expressions like yesterday, ago, in the past, when I was a child,
Keywords.
or maybe in a year in the past, in 2000, for example. The form in the positive like this: Sam walked into a cake shop, sorry. And the second one, they had lunch in a restaurant. In the negative form, we can add didn't, and the verb,
Zero form.
the zero form. Sam didn't walk into a cake shop, or they didn't have lunch in a restaurant.
So when we use an auxiliary verb, we
The
use the
main
zero
verb.
The zero
form,
form,
yes.
of
The
the
did
base
verb.
form of the verb.
In the question, we start with did, we invert, we start with the auxiliary now, and then the subject. If we have a question word, we start the question with the question word, then did, and then the subject. Did Sam
walk
into a cake shop, and did they have lunch in a restaurant?
Yeah.
So
Just the
if
students here have to differentiate between regular and irregular verbs. Or like when you like regular verbs, you have to add ed when they are in the past simple tense, and irregular ones just memorize them.
Actually, we advise them that irregular verbs, they can learn them from the irregular verbs list. When they learn the irregular verb list from the list, they are not many, maybe 52. I don't remember exactly, 50 or 52. All the other verbs are regular. And we form the past by adding ed. And when we use an auxiliary verb, we should use the zero form. WH questions are very important because in the exam, yes/no questions like here are not accepted. They need to ask WH questions. How? They need first to change into yes/no questions. Then they delete the word underlined in the exam paper and replace it for a question word, suitable question word. For example, Sam went to school. The yes/no question is, did Sam go to school? We omit to school and we put where at the beginning, and it becomes, where did Sam go?
Yeah, this is easier for them.
Yeah, it's very easy for the students to know how to change it to yes/no questions first, then they delete the underlined word. For example, maybe the underlined word is with my sister. I went to school with my sister, and the underlined word is my sister.
Yeah.
So first we change it to yes/no question. Did you go to school with your sister? Then we delete your sister and we put at the beginning who instead of it, because we ask about people using who, and the question becomes, who did you go with to school? If the underlined word is by bus, we delete by bus and we put how. How did you go with your sister to school?
Yeah.
We move to the use. Ms. Ola Subh, will you please talk about the use?
We actually use the simple past tense to express an event that began and ended in a specific time in the past. And to talk about actions or processes that happened once or repeatedly in the past and that are completed. Some keywords to help: yesterday, last month, last year, 2 weeks ago, in and a year, etc. Example, I bought a new car 2 months ago. So here we have
the word ago denotes
helps
the simple past. Yesterday denotes the simple past. Last with a time denotes the simple past. And the action should be happened and ended
in the past.
In the
specific time in the past. Yes. Actually, also we use it for actions that happened consecutively in the past. What does consecutively mean?
Means one after another. Without time, without space between them.
Yes. Example, Sue bought a book, went home and started to read it. And the last one is when an action started in the past while another one was ongoing. Example, we were walking down the street when the accident happened. So first we were walking down the street, then the accident happened, and two actions that interrupted each other.
Here the use is mutual with the past continuous. When we have interruption, something was going on and something else interrupted it. We put the first in the past continuous and the one that interrupted it in the simple past tense.
Yes, so we can say they influenced each other?
Yes. Okay. Past progressive. Ms.
Now again with the form, we start with the positive. We have subject, was or were, and the verb with ing. So for example, I was speaking or you were speaking. The negative form, we just add not after auxiliary was or were, so was not or were not. I was not speaking, you were not speaking. In the question form, we just invert. We start with was or were. After that, we use the subject and the ing form of the verb. Was I speaking or were you speaking?
Again,
WH.
we need the WH question. Let's highlight some. For example, I was speaking fast. And the underlined word is fast. The yes/no question is,
How?
were you speaking fast?
Yeah.
We delete fast and we replace it for
How?
how, and it becomes how were you
speaking?
speaking. Well, we move to the uses.
Yeah.
Ms. Ulasop.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the past continuous tense, we use this tense actually to talk about the past continuous or progressive is used when we talk about something which was happening at a specific time in the past. Here, an action going on at a certain
A long action happening at a point in time. Yes.
at a certain time in the past. Example, he was playing football at 10 a.m. yesterday. So here we have 10 a.m. yesterday. It was going on at 10 a.m. yesterday. Now, the other one is two actions were happening at the same time, and the actions do not influence each other, or they are parallel actions.
Yes.
Example, Anne was writing a letter while Steve was reading the newspaper. So here, two actions were happening at the same time, not influencing each other.
While is a key word here.
Yeah, while
is used with the past continuous tense. And here they don't influence each other. Every action was happening alone,
separately.
But both were in progress
Yeah.
at that time. So we put both in the past continuous tense. Here we don't have interruption.
Yeah, exactly. Now the last one is two actions occurring at the same time, but one action began earlier and was in progress when the other action occurred. Now, example, when I was having breakfast, the phone suddenly rang. So first I was having breakfast, then the phone rang and interrupted
my
the other
breakfast.
action. Yeah. The other example, I was walking down the street when it began or started to rain. So here first I was walking down the street, then it began to rain.
Usually in the exam we have questions like this. They need to notice, and we advise the students not only to focus on the keywords, they need to focus on the context.
Yeah.
From the context, they can understand the grammar. So if they feel that we have interruption, we choose the simple past with the past continuous. If they are going without influencing each other, both are going to be in the past continuous, and so on. We have an exercise. Number one, Ms. Ula Al-Muay, choose A, B, C, or D.
Number one, I to spend my holidays in Wales last year. We have last year, so it's, and the verb decide.
It should be either past simple,
Of course.
last year and yesterday, both denote
Past
the simple past and the past
progressive.
continuous. But ago, only for the simple past. So here, first we know that from the word last year, it's in the past. But we need to decide if it is
verb.
past continuous or simple past. How? If it is a long action,
Needs time.
needs time, it should be continuous. If it happened and finished, it is simple past.
Yeah.
Here, to spend my holidays in Wales last year.
And it's the
The
verb
verb
decide.
is decide. Decide,
verb.
does it take
Doesn't.
time?
Not usually,
No.
and
It's a
especially
state
last
verb.
year.
Usually you
as well.
think for a time, but when you decide,
Yeah, it's instant.
it's instant. So it should be simple past.
Simple.
And the answer is,
Decided B.
I decided.
Number two.
Number two, Mr. Al-Subh.
Okay, I traveled around by bike. I, the villages on the way and talked to people. A, visit. B, I'm visiting. C, visited. Or D, will visit. I visited. So here we have two consecutive actions. So we choose C, visited.
Number three, while I was doing my exams, my friends on the beach. So they were lying D on the beach. They were lying on the beach. It's interrupted.
Yes. While I was doing exams, my friends We're lying on the beach. Here we don't have interruption. Here, two actions happening at the same time.
Ah, sorry, yes.
And both
Parallel.
were long actions. Today we didn't receive calls. Strange. Maybe they
We
don't
still have
have
time.
electricity
We still have
to
time.
watch us and answer or ask us. Anyway, let's continue doing the exercises.
Yes.
Number 4,
Yeah,
Ms.
number
Ola
4,
Sobh.
Omar TV when his mother entered the room.
Here we have interruption.
Yeah, of course. Now, A, watch, it can be used here. B, watched, also can't be used here. C, was watching, or D, has watched. We have to go with C, was watching. So, two actions that were interrupted.
Yes, was watching when his mother entered and interrupted him.
Yeah.
Number 5,
Number 5, while she was reading a book, the phone, A, ring, B, rang, C, will ring, and D, has rung. It's B, rang. This is interruption again. He was reading
Yes,
a book
again
when the phone
interruption.
rang.
exactly.
And
Ms. Ola Sobh,
6,
number
yes,
6.
yes. Yesterday at 7 o'clock, we dinner at the restaurant. Have, had, or are having, or were having. Yesterday at 7 o'clock, we were having dinner.
Yes,
So D.
because it is a long action
Yeah,
happening at a point in
It
time.
takes time.
Number 7,
Number 7,
I
yes.
football last Monday. A, play, B, played, C, I am playing, D, I have played. Again, this is last Monday. I played football.
Yes, played football. Now we move to pronunciation part. This symbol means the sound ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
A short vowel.
Students need to know how to pronounce the words exactly. We have some examples. Miss Ola Sobh,
Yeah. Okay, we have bun.
kind
So-
of bread.
Yeah. Bum, bus, bud, bug, butt, hut, cut, cup, dug, fun, gun. So it's
So
like
the U letter here, all the U letter in these words,
It's not always
Are-
you. It's
The spelling
coincidence,
get it.
just coincidence.
yes, but in these examples, the letter U is pronounced as A, but
Ah.
not always. It's the same.
Okay, they just need to memorize or see the symbol and
Of course.
practice
yeah,
using
there
Yes,
are
that.
many
we have a
exercises
call.
in the book.
Bingo.
We needed to talk about cause. Heidi from Tartus. Good afternoon, Heidi.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Fine.
Do you have electricity to watch us?
I have a question about the exam sample.
They
Okay,
can.
I
okay.
can't hear you well.
Is it true that we might be asked to rearrange sentences to make a paragraph?
I couldn't follow. Could you follow? Will you repeat, please? Is it true what?
Is it true that we might be asked to rearrange sentences
Rearrange
to make a
sentences
paragraph?
to make a paragraph.
Rearrange sentences to make a paragraph?
Before the paragraph,
Yeah.
before writing the paragraph.
Yeah, this is before writing the paragraph. Maybe you have either to rearrange or to find the mistake, but mostly it is to find the mistake in the
Ninth grade.
9th grade. Then you have to write a paragraph, but you are going to be given hints, and you need to follow the hints you are given to write the paragraph. And the
Yes.
paragraph is not from the book, it's parallel. Not the same questions in the book, not the same writing questions in the book, it's parallel. So the students need to know how to write sentences from the beginning of the year so that at the end of the year he or she can write a composition answering the questions in the hint or writing about the hints. Is
Yes.
it clear? Any
Thank you.
other question, Heidi?
No, thank you for your effort.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well,
We should have mentioned that earlier.
yes, but thanks to
Speaking of-
Heidi that she asked, because usually every year we need to highlight that the paragraph
some
is not the
teachers,
same.
yes.
And why is it not the same like in the book? Because in the past, the aim of having a paragraph is to make the students know how to write. But what happened in the past, teachers wrote ready written
Made them
paragraphs
memorize them.
and asked the students to memorize
By
them
heart.
by heart.
Actually, it's
The
not over
students-
yet, but we're trying our best.
Yes, until now they try to
It's
do the
not
same.
over, yes.
But our advice is make your students, dear teachers, make your students write sentences from the beginning of the year. Then they will be able, if they can write 5 sentences, it's a paragraph.
Yeah.
So ask your students to, how can we make them write sentences? They write a sentence, they may have mistakes. The teacher corrects the mistakes and tells them why it is a mistake. From making mistakes and correcting the mistakes, students learn how to write correct
Practice makes
sentences.
perfect.
Then after they can write some sentences, it is a paragraph.
And they can use the vocabulary, the grammar mentioned in the book or in each
Of
unit
course.
to
of
apply
course.
them, so that, you know, eventually they end up with the skill to write any kind of paragraphs.
Exactly.
And it's easier to correct with sentences
Yeah.
than
For
with
me,
paragraph.
actually, I give a tense to the student. Then, from the vocabulary in the text, I ask the student to write
is
sentences.
easier than memorizing
use the
sentences.
vocabulary in sentences. If the student makes mistakes, I correct them. For the student learns by making mistakes and correcting them how to write correct sentences.
sure.
In the end, the student is going to be able to write a paragraph.
Yeah.
Now we have now to choose which word has the sound. Number 1, Ms.
No,
Ulam.
again, they need to practice pronouncing the words. Number 1, A, bird. B, rag. C, track. D, truck.
In the exam, they may have a question like this.
Of
Yeah.
course.
They
In
should.
the exam, students may have a question like this. They need to underline or to choose the letter which is the correct.
pronunciation.
For example, which word is has the pronunciation of sound, and they need to choose. Number 1 is truck.
D.
Number 2, Ms. Ola Subh.
Yeah. A, shirt. B, cat. C, trouble. Or D, wheat. It's actually C, trouble.
Trouble.
And number 3, A, summer. B, wet. C, pick. And D, palm. It's A, summer.
Summer. Yes. Now we come to the writing part, which is the most important thing for the students, because in the past they used to memorize.
Now
And
have
if
to
they
be
forgot
creative.
a word from what they have memorized,
They
It
won't
will
be able
be-
to complete.
yes.
Yeah,
And if the question is in the future and they learned the paragraph in the past,
Yeah.
they can't change it to make it in the future. That's why we decided, and I think we were right,
Yeah.
that the question for writing exercise should not be from the book, should be parallel, but the student is going to write words he took during the year.
And
from
even they
the
can
book.
even use expressions sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
not the
It's
no
exact,
problem.
the exact paragraph.
Yes, but why then we have some hints to follow in
Which
the
is
exam?
very important, yes.
Again, we thought if we don't put hints, teachers may ask them to memorize ready-written paragraphs. To prevent this from happening, we said we're going to change the hints every year. Even if the paragraph is known, the hints will be different,
Different.
so that the student needs to answer the hints to show us that it's not a ready-written paragraph.
So we can, for the same topic, write like tens or thousands of questions or
Yes.
hints.
Yes.
So we are helping students to be more creative
Yes, of course.
and more productive.
And it will be much easier in time.
Yeah.
We have another call. Hala from Latakia. Good afternoon, Hala.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
fine, thanks.
Grade 9, right?
Yeah.
Good. What is your question, Hala?
In Unit 5, Activity Book, page 31,
Terry.
Page,
can we use the simple past tense because we have the word yesterday?
What page, Hala? 30?
31.
31.
Number what?
Question number what?
2.
Will you repeat the question, Hala?
In Unit 5, Activity Book, page 31, can we use the simple past tense because we have the word yesterday?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Actually, the word
this is the only
yesterday
one with yesterday.
Doesn't
helps us to know that it is past, but we cannot decide if it is continuous or simple unless from the context we read the sentence, and from this context we can decide. Mr. Al-Subh, will you please read 1 or 2 from the one that has
Yeah,
the
this
word
is the
yesterday?
only one that has yesterday. What the manager at 7 p.m. yesterday.
So
So
we have
here we have
specific
7 p.m. So it was a specific time in the past and should be
And
action
from
that
the
was
verb,
happening.
from the verb doing,
Yeah,
it
do.
means he was doing. It
Yeah.
took
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Time.
It took time to do something. So at that point, he was doing something.
So
with that
here-
time,
yeah.
here we use the past
Past
continuous,
continuous, dear, not the past simple. So
simple.
it should be what
So
was.
from the context, Hala, if it is, I wrote my homework
Letter.
yesterday, only yesterday,
Past
so it's
simple.
past simple. But when we mention a specific time,
yeah.
mostly it is continuous.
Yeah, like
because
when,
it can be finished in one moment,
Yes.
which is
yeah,
at
like
7
when
o'clock.
yesterday morning, yesterday evening as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it clear, Hala?
She left.
Are you with us?
I get it.
I get it.
Well, any other questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much, Hala. Thank you. Thank you. We continue,
Yeah.
if we don't have any other calls, about we need to talk in details about writing. Again, as I said, teachers need to teach their students how to write simple sentences. Students will write and they may make mistakes. When they make mistakes, the teacher corrects these mistakes and tells the students why they are mistakes.
Yeah.
From making mistakes, correcting them, they learn how to write correct sentences, and then when they have the ability to write correct sentences, they will be able to. Again, mistakes can be grammatical and can
Spelling.
be spelling
Spelling,
mistakes.
Punctuational.
And the teacher needs to tell them how to use the punctuation. Some teachers say it is necessary to use linking words like then,
But,
after that, next. It's okay. If they use them, it's good. If they don't use them, it will
They
be
won't lose
accepted.
the mark.
But it's better to
course.
teach our students how to use the linking words so that the paragraph
Easier to read this way.
be easy to read and be coherent.
Yeah.
What advice can you give students in writing, Ms. Sauda?
Writing just the same that you have mentioned, Mr. Because they need to start, first of all, they have to have to enrich their vocabulary. Then they can start by writing sentences. Then they can move on to arranging these sentences into an introduction, a body, and an ending or a conclusion. This way it's arranged with good vocabulary, and we can correct the mistakes by the teacher, of course.
Yes. Now we are in the middle of the year. At the beginning of the year, we advised the teachers, well, we have tenses to teach during the year. When you teach a tense, it's very necessary to teach the students how to write an example in every tense. Sentences will be very nice idea, and how to write questions. Yes, no questions and WS questions. Why? Because writing sentences helps the students to be able to write the paragraph, and writing the questions helps the students be able
To make
to
questions.
make questions because they have this question.
Because other questions are only multiple choices or true false. They have
Yeah,
to
of
choose.
course. So the only way to make the students write is in this section. Write the questions and write the paragraph. Now, some students say it is difficult to find a mistake. No, it's not difficult. Yeah, of course, it's difficult if you come to the exam without learning.
Without practicing.
But during the year, students write sentences, and the teacher corrects them. For example, the teacher says in the simple past tense, we use yesterday. And in the future, we use next week. Now, if we have an example in the exam, and it is, I studied hard next month. Here we have a mistake.
It will ring a bell immediately.
Yes. That we look at the underlined word, and we know if we want to find the mistake here may be next month, and maybe studied. If the underlined word is studied, so it is wrong, should be will study hard. But if the underlined word is next month, so the mistake is next month, and it should be last month.
If you allow me, so I've seen some samples by teachers, and this is a mistake made by some teachers because they give sentences and they don't use a line. When we don't use the line, we might have more than way to correct the sentence.
Yes.
So if we need to correct, we should have a text. In this way, they can rewrite the text, correcting the mistakes. It's okay because it should be coherent and now you can understand. But with the sentence, it's difficult to decide where is the mistake and how to correct it.
Exactly.
They may have more than
And
one way.
since it's new, some teachers may put two lines under two suitable mistakes. So in this case, what I mentioned, I studied hard next month. If you underline studied hard and you underline next month, it is ambiguous. Students will not know which one to choose because both are mistakes. So when you underline the mistake, you should not underline the correct one that you want it. For example, I'm not going to underline studied hard if the mistake is next month. And if the mistake is studied hard, I don't underline next month to make the student know that here the mistake is. Another example is if I write, he speaks English very well. And in the year, while studying, I taught them that we put S with he, she, it in the simple past and the simple present tense. So here S is missing. The mistake is S. He speaks. It should be speaks. So it will be very easy. The mistake can be articles.
Of course.
Articles, for example, if say I bought the car, the student while reading will ask which car. So when we are going to ask which car is it, it should be a car, not the car.
Exactly.
So some students can't find the mistake because they always look for something very difficult. They just need to put in mind that it doesn't have to be very difficult. It's something you know, you are familiar with, maybe from your grammar, your vocabulary. So they just need to pay attention. It's not difficult, not complicated. They can find it out.
Shouldn't be complicated.
Of course.
Yeah, it's not at all. It's not complicated at all. It's very easy. But while studying, we need to know about grammar. It can be a spelling mistake. The mistake can be spelling mistake.
For example, Wednesday, it's pronounced without the D. We can omit the D. For example, this is just an example.
Read, for example, I'm reading a text. It may be written EE, which means another word, not suitable for this sentence. So they need to pay attention for spelling, the use of articles, use of grammar, use of... Maybe they have a question mark and it's not a question, or they have a question with a full stop, not a question mark, and it will be underlined. At the end of this seminar, I'm going to thank my colleagues in the studio, Ms. Ula Al-Mouai.
Thank you, sir.
English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Ms. Ula Sobh, English Language Teacher, Tartus Directorate. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks.
And this is me, Abdul Majid Overly, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Language in the Ministry of Education. Thank you so much, everyone who was with us. We hope you liked what we have presented. See you in the following seminars, and we wish you good luck. Good luck. Bye-bye.